Hi everyone, my name is Ellen and today I'm going to be showing you one of the basic essentials that you need to know when you own a guitar, which is how to tune it. So keep watching if this is something that you'd like to learn. So before you can try to tune your guitar, you need to be familiar with the way that it's been strung. So if you go ahead and look at the tip of your guitar, you can see where the strings kind of wrap around the pegs. And as a rule of thumb, usually your guitar will be strung so that the strings kind of go outwards towards the pegs. So if you can see that on my guitar, they always wrap around this way, so they go towards the pegs. The rest of my tutorial will be based on whether or not your guitar is strung this way. So besides which direction your strings are strung onto the pegs, you also need to be familiar with your guitar as far as what the strings are called. You need to know the names of these strings for many reasons, but also just for tuning purposes, just so you know how it's supposed to sound. So you can remember from lowest to highest, it goes E, A, D, G, B, E. Every adult dog growls, barks, eats. That's the way I remember it. Anyways, so as far as these pegs go, the top three, the three that are pointing upwards, they're going to be related to the bottom three strings. So low G, A, and D. Those are going to be controlled by these three. Specifically, the low G will be controlled by the one closest to you. A will be controlled by the one in the middle. And D will be controlled by the one on the very top. Okay? Now your bottom three pegs, the ones that are pointing downwards, those are going to control the top three strings, G, B, and E. More specifically again, the one on the very top here, this is going to be controlling your G. The one in the middle controls B. And this one here controls E. You need to be familiar with these so that whenever your guitar is out of tune and you're trying to tune it, you know which peg goes with which string, so you know which one you need to manipulate. So I'm going to go ahead and start off by showing you how to use these pegs. And if you don't know, these pegs on the sides are what we use to tune our guitar. So if your guitar has been strung like mine and the strings are pointing outwards towards the pegs, then these rules will apply to you. So for the three pegs closest to you, the ones on the top, if you turn it to the left, it's going to go higher. And if you turn it to the right, it'll go lower. Okay? Same thing with all of these strings. And then the three on the bottom, they're going to be opposite. So if you turn the three on the bottom to the left, it's going to go lower. Another way you can think about it if you don't like the left and right idea is for the top three, if you turn it towards the back of the guitar, it'll make the sounds go higher. And for the bottom three, if you turn it towards the back of the guitar, it'll go lower. So of course this applies in the opposite direction too. So if you turn your pegs on the top to the right, it'll make your pitches go lower. And if you turn your bottom three pegs to the right, it'll make your pitches go higher. I know it may be a little confusing, but it actually is very intuitive. So if you go ahead and mess around with your guitar right now, you'll probably figure out which directions to turn it. And if you mess up with the direction, it's fairly obvious, so it'll be easy for you to just go back the other direction. So if you want to make this lowest E string a little bit higher, and you accidentally turn it to the right, all you have to do is turn it to the left. And then you can make it higher. So go ahead and get used to your pegs, and when we come back, I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to use these pegs to tune your guitar in standard tuning. So if you're new to guitar and you're not exactly sure how the strings are supposed to sound, my advice to you would be to go ahead and find an online guitar tuner. So it's really simple. All you have to do is open up some kind of search engine and then type in online guitar tuner, and you should get lots and lots of results, and you just pick one, and preferably one where you can click on each individual string and it'll play that for you so you can match your guitar to the online guitar. So I already have pulled up on my laptop an online guitar tuner, and it's one where you just click on the strings and it'll play that string for you. So that'll make it really simple for us to match our guitar to the one that's being played online. So as you can tell, my guitar is super out of tune. I completely untuned it for this purpose, so I'm going to show you guys how to make it back in tune. So if we'll go ahead and listen to the bottom E online and compare that to my bottom E, can you guys hear a difference? Is it higher or lower? It's definitely lower. So since we're talking about one of the top 3 pegs, we want to make it higher, so we're going to turn it left. Okay, so now our bottom E string is in tune. Let's practice that again with the next string, which is A. That's the standard tuning A, and let's listen to my A. Can you guys tell if that's higher or lower? It's higher, right? So since again we're on the top 3 pegs, we're going to want to turn it to the right to lower it down, right? So same thing with the rest of the strings. You're going to play it, play your string, determine whether it's higher or lower, look at which string you're going to be changing. If it's one of the lower strings, it'll be the top 3 pegs, and if it's one of the higher strings, it'll be the bottom 3 pegs. So let's go ahead and tune the rest of my guitar. Okay, now my guitar is back in standard tuning. Okay, so again, to sum that up, if you're a complete beginner, find a website that'll play you all of the strings and play one at a time and just tune your guitar to those strings. Remember, if you go the wrong direction and you're trying to make it higher but you actually make it lower, that's not a big deal, right? Because then you just know to turn it the other way around. It's something that's very intuitive, and after you practice tuning your guitar for a while, you kind of get used to it and then it becomes a little easier. So once you've been tuning your guitar for a while, I'll teach you a couple more tricks for more of an intermediate level guitar tuning. So you might be wondering what to do if you're getting ready for a performance but you don't have internet access. So you don't have your computer, you don't have your phone, and you need to know how to tune your guitar. That's when this next step will come in handy. So I've already untuned my guitar again. Really bad, right? So what I'm going to be showing you now is how to tune the top 5 strings to the lowest string. And what I mean by that is it may not be in standard tuning, but at least you can tune all the strings so that they're together, so that you can still play chords and it'll sound in tune and you can still play songs. So let's go ahead and listen to my lowest E string. Now I can tune the rest of the 5 strings to this lowest E, okay? And the way I'm going to do that is I'm going to play the 5th fret on the lowest E string. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5th fret. It's usually the one with the dot on it if you have a guitar like mine. If you play the 5th fret E string, that should be the A. That should be the string over. So they don't match, right? So that means I need to retune my A string. So now you can hear the 5th fret of my lowest E string matches the string next to it, which is A. It's a little bit off, but you get the idea. So I'm going to do that same technique all the way across. So again, I'm going to play the 5th fret on the A string, and that should tell me what the D string should sound like. D should tell me what G sounds like. The only one that's different is when you get to the G string. Now you're going to be playing the 4th fret on the G string to get your B sound. And then when you get to the B, again you're going to go back to the 5th fret and it should give you what the E sounds like. So now your guitar should be in tune. So that's one technique you can use when you're trying to tune your guitar on the run and you don't have access to a tuner that will tune every individual string for you. One last thing that I wanted to tell you is that after a lot of practice, you kind of start to develop this thing called perfect pitch, which means you can kind of hear the notes and you can hear whether or not they're in tune. So again, I've untuned my guitar. And because I've been playing for so long, I kind of already have memorized what the strings are supposed to sound like. So I can tune what they call by ear. I can just pick up a guitar and tune it. And that didn't take me very long at all. So I promise you guys, if you practice a lot, you'll eventually get to this point and you'll be able to just tune your guitar without even thinking too hard about it because you're just used to the way that it sounds. One last little tip that I have for you is, in case you don't know, the bottom lowest string is an E, and so is the top highest string. So just like checking with the 5th fret, that technique, you can also check the 2 E's to each other by picking both of them at the same time. It should have a nice ringing sound to it if your E's are in tune. If one's even just a little bit off, it'll have a weird kind of wavy vibrato sound. It's because they're on different wavelengths. So you have to make sure that the 2 E's are in tune. They should be on the same wavelength. It should mesh perfectly. So I really hope that this technique session was helpful to you. Make sure to leave me comments below on any other guitar techniques you guys would like to learn next. And until then, just keep practicing. I know you can do it. And I'll see you in my next tutorial. Bye!